Agenda item C. This is a request for a parking exception to allow conversion from a retail store to a hair salon without providing additional parking per Chapter 12, 120 of the San Bruno Municipal Code. Staff report, please.
Thank you. The subject site is 574 San Mateo Avenue. That's located on the east side of the street and just south of Angus Avenue. The space was previously occupied by one of Lullaby Lane's locations, and the applicant is proposing a hair salon. They're proposing a total of 10 stations. They would have 9 for hairstylists and 1 facial room. Their proposed hours of operation are Tuesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. They've been operating a salon at another location in San Bruno for a number of years, and they propose to retain the same number of employees, which is 9, and operate in approximately the same manner that they have for several years. The project requires a parking exception because the proposed use of a hair salon requires more parking than the previous use of general retail sales. So retail sales for this location is based on square footage and would require 6 spaces. A hair salon is based on the number of stations or chairs that are there, and so would require 20 spaces. So that's a net increase of 14 spaces with the application. As the Planning Commission is aware, over the last several years, there have been some surplus parking in the downtown area. For this project, staff did conduct a parking study to confirm that there was sufficient parking in the area of the project. So we evaluated the 3 closest lots to the site, which are parking lots 4, 5, and 6, that have a total of 185 parking spaces. Staff found that the average occupancy rates of those parking lots to be 45, 65, and 45%. So these numbers are well below the 85% threshold that was mentioned earlier, the one that we commonly use for parking analysis to understand how parking lots are being used and if they may be impacted. So staff does find that there is adequate parking in the immediate area for the project. Staff mailed the required legal notice on April 6th, and we have not received any comments from the surrounding property owners. So staff does recommend approval of the parking exception based on the findings and subject to the conditions of approval in the staff report, and I would be happy to answer any questions.
Thanks, Laura. Are there any questions for staff?
Through the chair.
Sure.
On the staff report, there's a proposed floor plan, but there's nothing about the facade improvements that might go along with this project. Have there been any discussed or proposed, or?
We have not discussed any significant improvements to the facade. It's a very narrow storefront, and as you can see in the picture, it's the one where there's 4 storefronts in a row with the small display cases in the front. So all we would expect them to do is to include a sign at the front of the building, and then if you wanted to ask the applicant, she is here, if you had any additional questions for her.
Thank you.
Any other questions for staff?
Through the chair.
Commissioner?
Has there been any discussion about painting the building at all, having some of the striping go away? This is not really an applicant piece, but looking at page 7.
We have not discussed it. We certainly could pass that information along. The property owner is still the same property owner from when it was Lullaby Lane. So we could certainly pass that information along and encourage them or work with them to do that.
Thank you.
If there are no more questions, thanks, Laura.
Thank you.
Is the applicant here? Just take the podium, state your name, address, and your project information.
Okay. Good evening, everybody.
Could
My
you
name is Anna.
Could you grab the mic towards you? Thank you.
My name is Anna Mariani, and I've been in business for 30 years, me and my daughter. And I have a business in San Bruno for 6 years, and would like to relocate our business to San Mateo Avenue.
Are there any questions for the applicant? No? Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll open up public comment. If there are any members of the public that would wish to speak on this matter. Seeing none, public comment is now closed. Planning Commission discussion. Is there a motion?
Through the chair.
Commissioner?
I move that the Commission approve parking exception 12-2 based on findings of fact 1 through 2 and conditions of approval 1 through 11.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. There's a 10-day appeal period.